If you have this automation, I will show you how to build in this video. You never ever again need to check your inbox for any invoices, save them or even process, because this automation does everything for you on autopilot. So simply whenever we receive any invoice on our Gmail, it triggers the automation that actually processes for us this invoice. It checks if the invoice is correct, if it's not another PDF file. Then what it does, it retrieves for us the data, saves inside Notion. Also, we've got this very nice step that processes sub-items inside our invoice. So after a few seconds, our data is extracted. So afterwards, I've got all of my invoice information inside Notion. So here, the subject, actually the subject of the email. So we've got invoices, email from which the invoice was sent, invoice URL. So here we stored the invoice inside Google Drive, amount, and also what's great, we've got invoice line items. So here, for an example, sales tax, domain registration, website development services, specific amount. So if you set up this specific automation, you never ever again need to look on Gmail, check if something is missing in your invoices because everything is stored in one place. And also you've got great breakdown inside Notion of what's in the invoice or invoices. And additionally, if you think about some problems that may come with this automation, such as what if a PDF file is not an invoice, or what if there are multiple invoices files, or if one file is an invoice and other is not an invoice, because it happens, I will explain you actually why our automation prevents this specific stuff. So the first problem is, what if a PDF file is not an invoice? Inside our trigger, we've got some specific filters. So we search for the here file name, which is PDF. We only sort, actually we take only PDFs and also attachments. And another thing, we've got our invoice controller. So it returns the status. So it checks if this specific file is an invoice or not. So it returns no or yes. If it's not actually an invoice, we delete the file and we end this automation. So nothing happens. The second question, what if there are multiple invoices files? So actually with the trigger, we had two different files and one was an invoice and one not. So here actually it processed two files and then it checked the status for two files. One wasn't an invoice and one was an invoice. So actually it processed only this one specific invoice, and other file that wasn't again an invoice, it deleted it, and this is the end actually. And the third question, so we answered it. What if one file is an invoice and other is not an invoice? So again, it handles all of the stuff. And in this video, I will show you exactly how to build it step by step. So I will guide you through the entire process. But for now, if you would like to download this automation along with the instructions, you can check out our Agents Accelerator. Inside the classroom, I put for you the specific page. So we've got invoice processing, all of the instructions, and also you can download the JSON file. So just import this specific workflow and use it right away. It's really useful. And I will put the link to our community in the description of the specific video. Okay, but now let me guide you through this entire workflow, how it works and how to build it step by step. So first we've got the trigger, which is Gmail. And here every minute we check for new attachments, new emails with attachments on our Gmail. Also, we've got filters, so search option, and we've got here the file name, which is the PDF. So we only search for the extension, which is actually PDF. And we check and emails only that have attachment or attachments. Also, what we do, we enable the option which is download attachments. So we simply enable it. So right away, we download these attachments. After the trigger, we've got two paths. And in the first one, we've got the edit fields. So what we do, we map the attachments. This is the specific name of the variable we return. We choose an array because what if we have multiple different PDF files? So we need to map it as an array. And what we do, we provide this specific code. So Gmail trigger item binary keys. So it returns for us these specific files. Additionally, we store the message ID. So for that, we've got the string, JSON ID. So you just take it from here, from your trigger. That's great. And simply afterwards, you've got two specific attachments, the names of them and variables, also message ID. Right away, what you do, you split out the items. So you want to have two items of obviously, if you have 2 attachments, you will have 2 different items. If 3, you will have 3. However, we need it for further steps of this automation, because we'll again actually process each specific file separately. So as you can notice, we send every time 2 items, 2 items, 2 items. And also, like, we do the entire stuff at once, however, for 2 different items. And then what we do, we merge the paths. So the first path we've got, so this is with these 2 items. And the second one is right away from Gmail node. And for what we do this, the reason is very simple. We wanna actually fit our further steps with the files from Gmail node, because the output right here are these 2 files. However, right there, we again feed it, we do all of the stuff. And then right away, this is like, intentional step, because here we need to upload the file to our Google Drive. So what we do in that case, we pick JSON attachments field. So in general, if we go there, we choose the attachments. And also remember, we've got 2 items here. So actually it takes 2 items. Simply, you can put this variable here. And for the file name, you can just choose, I've done specific action. So let me explain. From Gmail trigger, I've chosen the subject. So here, when we scroll down, we've got the subject, which is actually this one. And then I provided this specific sign and JSON attachments. Because if we have multiple items, we want to have different names, okay? So it won't be every time, actually, let me show you. It won't be every time attachment 0. It should be attachment 0 and 1. That's why we've got this JSON attachments variable, this part, that changes the name. Because again, let me show you, we've got attachment 0 and attachment 1. So it will be, as you can see, the subject, Invoices attachment 0, okay? So this is the part. So invoices for this specific variable for the subject, and the JSON attachment is actually this part, so attachment 0, and again, we'll have attachment 1. If we look on the table, and we've got 2 items, and the first one again is Invoices attachment 0 and Invoices attachment 1. Great. Right away after we upload the files, we download them for the further steps of this project. So we only provide JSON ID. And we've got our 2 items. Then we use node, which is extract from file. So simply we provide the name of our files. So this is the data. And we extract the text. Okay, this is the text extracted by this node. And when we go ahead to JSON code, you can see like we've got a lot of different, like we've got a lot of data here. For the second, actually, it wasn't. This is the point. I provided 2 PDFs. One was an invoice and one wasn't. So this is actually the PDF that wasn't an invoice. So the text is pretty long. However, the second item is actually our invoice right here. So we use this specific node to extract the entire data and use it in the further steps. We choose the operation, which is extract from PDF, and we provide the binary field, so the name of it, which is the data. Great. Then we use our AI agent. So here inside what we have, we've got the prompt. So based on the text, decide if the text is about an invoice or not, and we provide the text from here. So this specific variable. If yes, return yes. If no, return no. Don't provide any additional information. Use only small letters. Afterwards, so we just take all of the data, and afterwards receive the status. So the status for one invoice was no, and for the second one it was yes. That's great. Additionally, we require a specific output format. So we've got structured output parser, and there we've got the entire JSON example. So the entire form of the response we would like to get. Also remember all of the instructions you can find inside our community, that the link will be in the resources of this material. So we've got invoice controller, AI agent, and basic LLM chain, so the prompt, which is very complex, that we'll be using right now, actually. Maybe not right now, however, very soon. Okay, let's go back to automation. After the agent that decides if the file is an invoice, we've got the if node. So it checks. If it's an invoice, process with further steps. If no, delete this specific file that we uploaded here, okay? So it's not an invoice, it's like, fake alarm. So the note is pretty simple. We check for the JSON output status is equal to yes, and then, if it's the true, we continue with these steps. So let me show you with these steps. If it's false, it deletes only the file, and that's it. As you can notice, I had two items. So first item was an invoice, and the second one not. Actually, maybe the opposite. Whatever. But here it deleted one item and one kept inside our workflow. So it processed one item, and then we've got basic LLM chain. So what we do inside, we actually extract the following data. So let me show you. We've got right here, we've got the company name, total invoice amount. We've got a description, so different, items. So here, cloud storage subscription, technical support services, sales tax. So generally, we would like to get, like specific line items for the invoice. If we have an invoice, obviously we may have multiple sub items. So for example, here we've got the subscription and there also the tax. Maybe this is not the great case. However, you may have some different items. Maybe you've got inside one invoice the item for web design, or I don't know, community management and so. So we would like with this automation to retrieve it and save also inside Notion. So not only data about the entire invoice, however, also the sub items. So with basic LLM chain, we retrieve the information needed, and then we save the data inside Notion. So in general, also if you go ahead to our community, you've got the Notion database template. You can just copy it right there and use it for your own. But what we map inside, we've got a subject. Then we take the subject from Gmail. Then we have an email. Also, we take it from Gmail trigger. Then invoice URL. We take it from upload file. So we take this specific URL, view web view link. Amount, we take it from our previous step, so basic LLM chain. So this is our amount. And this is pretty everything for now. So yeah, we just save the data inside our specific Notion database. However, now what we do else, as I said, we also extracted the information for sub items. So we added the fields, we name them, actually the first field we name as line items, and we take our item from basic LLM chain. So simply we take line items, so this array, all right? So simply we just drag and drop it here. And also we track subject ID, this is a string. So simply we take, where do we have it? Yeah, this is the ID. So this is the ID of our Notion database. Because afterwards we would like to use this ID to, map the specific Notion database to use. To actually save the data in. But for now, after the edit fields node, we've got split out. So we split out these three items because it was in actually our array in one item. However, we want to have three items. For the loop option, so simply inside the loop, we have the Notion database. So we just save, we just here provide the title. So invoice subject, invoice item. Actually, let me show you. So here, let me go here, invoice tracking. Yeah. So we've got the main invoice information, which is the subject, email, invoice URL, and amount. However, for line items, we've got, again, invoice subject. So we exactly know from which invoice it is. For that case, we've got two subjects that are invoices. But if we had here, for an example, invoices 1, 2, or so, we would have their sub items for this specific case. So by this way, we can distinguish which sub items are for which invoice. All right. For invoice item, we've got the name of the specific item and the amount. So the amount should actually the specific amount of all of the sub items should sum up to the amount of the entire invoice. So for an example here, what we have, we've got these 4 items probably, yeah, these 4 items for this invoice, and these 3 items, so these 3 items for this invoice. And actually, this is everything. So this system is great. I don't need to check my inbox ever again. If you have, like, a lot of us have big mess inside our inboxes. It's normal, all right? I've got over a few thousand emails, and sometimes it's really overwhelming if I need to go to my email and then search for the invoices, check if I saved everything, if I didn't miss everything, anything. So yeah, I think this system is great for that specific case. It tracks your invoices, saves the data inside Notion, and again, it runs on autopilot whenever you've got any attachment, and it checks for the invoices actually. That's great. For now, thank you for watching. Remember, if you would like, you can check out our AI Agents Accelerator. Inside, we've got plus 40 hours n8n course, beginner to pro, if you wish to take your skills to the highest level. Inside, you've got a lot of automations, like a lot. This is the best n8n course on the internet. Over 40 hours of content. Here, you've got premium AI agents templates, 30-day AI automation agency roadmap, YouTube resources, like a lot of value. However, for now, no pressure. Feel free to check it out. I will put again the link in the description of this video. For now, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next material.